Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds, where I collect together all the things that I've purchased over the past week. I run through it with you, give you a little bit of background about why I chose to pick it up, and also maybe help you decide if you want to pick it up. And so I've got 4 CDs and 1 box set to run through with you. I know it's not as many as I normally pick up, but hey, I only pick up the stuff I actually want to pick up. Some weeks it's more, some weeks it's less, but it all works out in the end of the day. We'll get into that here in just a bit, but before we start, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. Of course, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss an episode just like this, where I'm running through all the new things that I picked up this past week. And we're going to start off with new releases, and in this particular case, I only picked up one thing here from this past Friday, March 29th, and it was the Michael Schenker box set. This was called Is It Loud Enough 1980-1983. It's got 6 CDs inside here, 66 tracks. I like the way that they did this here. It's I guess a box with a slipcase over it like that. When you take that off, then you've got all the individual CDs here. A little nicer than the ones that are just thin cardboard sleeves. This has a little bit more meat to them. There's also a book in this one here. Lots of good stuff to see inside this thing. Photos, write-up, history, that kind of stuff. Done very well. Again, not a lot of these boxes come with that, so I'm appreciative of it. We have the self-titled Michael Schenker group from 1980. They all have inner sleeves in them, which makes it nice. Then we've got MSG 1981 release, Assault Attack from 1982, which has Graham Bonnet on vocals, my favorite. And then Built to Destroy, this one 1983. What's cool is they have both the US and UK mixes on this thing, so you're getting 2 different mixes of the album. They actually sound quite different. I was surprised when checking it out. Sometimes they were just, very subtle, but I think it's the UK one has a lot more punch, in my opinion, than the US. But that's not it. You get 2 additional discs in here. You get one that is demos and alternate versions. 13 tracks in all. Doesn't list it as these being unreleased, but I don't have any of them in my collection. Then you get a disc that's actually called Unreleased. And so I guess everything that's on this one is unreleased, but they're basically all just demos, alternate versions, things along those lines. But kind of always interesting to hear a demo version before all the production and things have happened to it, get a sense, for it. So all in all, 6 discs in this thing. Very cool packaging overall. Very happy with it. It's $49, so just under $50 for 6 discs. For me at least, I thought it was really worth it to get the 2 different mixes of Built to Destroy and those 2 unreleased discs. All right, moving on. So in the last episode, you saw that I picked up a couple new Uriah Heep albums. That got things going for me. One of the other ones that I didn't have, because I have a lot of the Uriah Heep stuff in my collection, so not as much from the early period as I do from the 80s, 90s on forward, but one from the early 80s that I didn't have was called Head First. So I was glad to get a hold of this, a remastered copy with bonus tracks on it, filling in the gaps for my Uriah Heep collection. I always liked that album cover. This is one of those ones that I could have swore I had. The more I thought about it, I realized that the album cover that's pretty close to this is Nazareth, and I think it's called Snakes and Ladders. And they've got slithering snakes in a desert scene like this as well. And I think I'm confusing it with that. But all in all, I thought I had it in the collection, so I didn't pick it up. Actually, when I was picking up these 2, then I got home and I checked, and sure enough, didn't have it. So had to add that one to the collection. Glad that I did. That one was really good. Featuring, I think his name is Pete Colby on vocals coming in, John Sinclair on keyboards. So lineup that only lasted a couple albums there in the very early 80s. All right. Also from last week, new release was The End Machine, and the vocalist on this is Garesh Pradam from Garesh and the Chronicles. And so I went back into my collection and I found this, Joel Hoekstra's 13, which he sings on. And I'm just enjoying it so much that I decided I actually needed to get a hold of some Goresh and the Chronicles. So I picked this one up, their latest album, Back on Earth. This is 2022 or 23. So very new, their newest. And I think they might have 4 albums total, but this was the only one that I could actually get a hold of. So I've added this to the collection. And I gotta say, this is some great hard rock music. I mean, I may even like it better than these things. Not that I don't like these for what they are, but in terms of his vocals and hearing him in his own element, this turned out to be amazing hard rock. So, guitar player on this, phenomenal. Put the two together, great vocalist, great guitarist, and if you haven't checked out Goresh and the Chronicles, I highly recommend it now. This one, easy enough for you to get. Okay, so also in the last episode, and maybe even the episode before that, I had picked up various Semisonics. So their debut album I had already gotten a hold of, their EP from 2020. These are all just recent purchases. This is what kicked it off. A Little Bit of Sun, I bought this one, the 2023 newest studio album, and fell in love with this, which made me go back and buy those other. Luckily, last time I found this, Dan Wilson's solo album. Wasn't expecting to find that. That was a used find at my favorite record store, Sound Exchange in Wayne, New Jersey. And so that led to me deciding to check out more of his solo stuff, and I found this called Recovered. And I did some more research and checked Wikipedia, and I learned more about him. And I came to find out that the lead vocalist and singer for Semisonic is actually an in-demand songwriter and has written a number of big name songs for people. So he co-wrote these, and he's now doing his own versions of them on this. Home from Dierks Bentley, You and I from John Legend, Someone Like You from Adele. When I'm saying from, remember, he co-wrote these. They performed them, but now he's doing his own versions. So Not Ready to Make Nice from the Dixie Chicks. When the Stars Come Out, Chris Stapleton. What's cool is he also does a version of the Semisonic song Closing Time on here, If I Walk Away from Josh Groban. So a lot of these songs I knew as pop songs, not really my cup of tea. Not that he didn't like the songs, I'm just not going to go out and buy those artists. But to get them all collected here and sung by Dan Wilson, who I'm really into at the moment, turned out to be a perfect thing. So this is readily available. You can get a hold of this. Some of his other stuff is a little hard to come by, but all in all, pretty cool for that. And then this one, which has been out of print for a while, haven't been able to track it down, wasn't finding it used anywhere. And then I just kind of randomly went on Amazon to see if by chance one had come available, used or something. And they had a brand new sealed copy ready for shipping, 2-day Prime, everything. So this is their second album, which is called Feeling Strangely Fine. And managed to get a hold of a copy of this. The only unfortunate thing is when I was ordering this, it said it was going to be the 20th anniversary edition, which has, I think, 3 bonus tracks, maybe 4 bonus tracks. This has 12. I think the one with the bonus tracks is 16. And when it arrived, it wasn't it. It's one from the actual 90s when this first came out. I contacted Amazon and I said, hey, I'd like to, return this. I can't exchange it because, it's a one-off sort of thing. But I explained that the wrong thing was sent to me, and they apologized and said, you know what, keep it. And they refunded the $18 that I spent for it. So I ended up getting this free. So don't ever fear standing up for yourself and saying, hey, I didn't get the right thing. Can you make it right? And a lot of times you'll come out further on top than you would have if you didn't say anything at all. All in all, got the new for me, Semisonic. So now I'm only missing one of their studio albums. At some point, I'm sure I'll come across that one in due time when I'm searching used record stores and stuff like that. But while I didn't get a lot this time, I got a lot of cool things that really sort of plug the niche of what it is that I'm feeling and wanting to hear with that Uriah Heep. So just kind of continuing on with what I was listening to and enjoying from 1-2 episodes back, just kind of continuing on with that. And who knows where I'll go from here, but it feels like it's about time to branch out into something else. So maybe for next week, you'll be seeing a whole entirely different set of things. So there you go. That is my new music finds from this past week. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and maybe you found some new stuff you want to search out yourself. What's the latest thing you picked up that is hot for you? Let me know in the comments. And take care. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.